Hey YouTube, RAPTall here with another battle. This time my opponent is Ph33rPhazon or TigerHawkins. This is his YouTube channel. This is a freaking awesome match. I split into two parts because it's just long and it's easier to do and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm going to start out with my Abomasnow. He's going to start out with a Frostlass. I actually expect the trick, so I go into my own Frostlass, which has a Choice Scarf of its own. So he is going to go for a trick just like I expected, and now he is locked into his trick Choice Scarf. I don't want to switch out, fearing that he's going to go for the trick again, which luckily I do because he does go for the trick again. Obviously, he knows that I'm locked into Blizzard, which is probably what he wanted to do. He wanted to see what move I was going to lock myself into, and all of that stuff. Anyway, he goes into a Tyranitar, which means this is going to be a battle of the weathers. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of weather switching up here and all of that stuff, but overall, it is a lot of fun. So my Flagon is going to take a hit very nicely from this dude. If he was going to go for Earthquake, you know, I'd miss it, or, you know, Stone Edge doesn't hit me very hard. So I believe I go for the Toxic on the switch because this is my Toxic Staller Flagon, and he goes into a Claydol. So this guy, he might have the Ice Beam, so I'm kind of fearing that. So I go in my Frostlass, but he sets up Stealth Rocks. Doesn't really tell me if he has Ice Beam or not. He could have expected the switch and all of that. I believe I want to go for Blizzard here. No, I go for the Taunt. I don't know why I go for the Taunt, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, he already set up Stealth Rocks. Maybe so he couldn't recover, something like that. Either way, it's kind of silly because I'm locked into Taunts, and looking back at it, that wasn't the best move. Oh well. Anyway, I go back into my Abomasnow, which is now going to start Hail back up again. I should... Oh, man. If I wasn't lazy, I'd put a counter up on how many times switching occurs and all of that. His Dragonite, at this point, I don't know what kind of Dragonite it is, so... oh no, I guess I go for Leech Seed. I was thinking I was going to switch out for a Fire Blast or something like that. Because obviously mine on my other team has... Fire Blast on it because it's more of like a anti-lead set. But he's just going to go straight for the spikes, and I know he's locked into spikes. So there's a couple different things I can do, but I decided to go into Flagon since I'll at least not get affected by the spikes for now, and can threaten him with a Fire Blast. And I believe he's going to switch back out into his... Oh, it's his Claydol. So I go for the Toxic, but it misses because he's obviously already Toxic. Let's see what's going on here. It's actually been a little bit since I've done this battle, so I can't quite remember what happens. Oh yeah, I go for a Fire Blast, and that's my first big miss of the game. Now he gets a crit Shadow Ball. I guess it's really not a big miss because Claydol can't really do a whole lot to me, and I do have Roost on my Flagon, so that's pretty much meaningless to me. But just there's a couple misses in this game that happens, and you know, see how that affects the outcome. Maybe it'll matter, maybe it won't. You'll just have to wait and see. But he goes for another Shadow Ball. I'm sure he's kind of hoping for the special defense drop. Of course, you know, a Shadow Ball does jack squat to me, and he's slowly but surely being taken down by poison. Obviously, his lefties to get rid of the hail damage and all of that. And I believe I go back for another Fire Blast. I'm like, okay. You know, this thing needs to get hit and get hurt. I hit it this time, of course, being against the Tyranitar, it's going to do nothing at all. I haven't shown him that I have Earthquake yet, so I decided to go for the Earthquake. He might have not expected I had that, or whatever, since, you know, I hadn't shown it before, and this is not a set you see often. Not that it's, you know, unused, but it's not a super used set. You know, makes a smart play, goes in the Dragonite to resist the Earthquake, and he knows now my entire move set. So Fire Blast is the only other move I have. Doesn't do much, and I miss. Was that the Toxic that I tried to hit him with? I think it was. It was like, come on, you know, I'm missing a couple of moves which really could help me out here, and it's just making it harder and harder for me. So I lose my Flagon on the Dragon Meteor. I expected he was going to go for the Dragon move, but I didn't really have anything I wanted to switch into and take a hit, depending on what it was. I decided this is the time for me to get rid of all of his crap. So I rapid spin, get rid of all of it, and he goes into his, oh, excuse me, ooh, that was a big one, Vaporeon. Now, obviously, I have the Surf and I have the Thunderbolt on this. I do not have the Ice Beam because I have Rapid Spin and Recover. He doesn't know that. I mean, obviously, for the Vaporeon, I wouldn't be using Ice Beam anyway, but I try to bluff it later on in the match. Decided to go back into my Abomasnow and go for the Leech Seed just so I can get some health back. But he goes for the Toxic, which is quite the bummer. I don't have a healer cleric on this team, so he is poisoned for the long haul. And the biggest problem with that is if my Abomasnow dies before his Tyranitar dies, he is going to win the Battle of the Weathers, and he'll have his Perma Sandstorm up for the rest of the match, while I will not. Decided to go for the Woodhammer in case he wanted to stay in, but he does switch out. And it does a decent chunk, but at this point, I'm going to want to switch out, fearing, or no, I want to protect to see what he does first. He goes for the Destiny Bond. I was fearing the trick, but he goes for the Destiny Bond, and I'm thinking that I can probably set up on him. Oh no, he decides to switch out. Will I go for the Leech Seed? No, I don't go for the. Wow, I don't remember what the hell I did in this battle. Finally go into my Machamp, and of course my dude has Stone Edge, so I just want to try and Stone Edge him, but he's gonna predict that pretty easily. I mean, most Machamps have Stone Edge, so it's nothing too not obvious or whatever. Goes into his Frostlass for Death Fodder, which is nice. That thing's dead, and now that thing's dead, I have two things that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about my spinner getting blocks, and I don't have to worry about going for the trick on my Frostlass and having that blocked by his Frostlass. But at this point, it's not a. There's really no big point to try and trick his Claydol because it's so low. I can just kill him off with a Blizzard. I mean, the only thing Trick would have really done for me is get his lefties, which, granted, would have been nice, but, it is what it is. Go into my Abomasnow expecting the Toxic, which luckily is exactly what happens. I could have gone into my Starmie, which has Natural Cure, and threatened him with the Thunderbolt, but I figured this probably would work a little better in the long run, because I'm trying to get Leech Seed up to kind of buff my health loss from Toxic, and if I can get that up, that'll help a lot, and at least keep me at decent HP while I stay in here. But it's going to be losing battle thanks to his Protect. Going to the Frostlass, expecting him to not go for a Toxic again. He obviously has Stealth Rocks out, so my Frostlass is getting hurt a decent amount here, but I don't really know what I want to do about it. So anyway, go in here with my Frostlass. I'm expecting the switch, so I just want to go for at least a layer or two of spikes. Spikes and Stealth Rocks always help. Obviously, I don't have Stealth Rocks on this team, but spikes are at least good for something. I don't want my Frostlass to die yet, because I still think it's going to be useful for me. As he goes into the Tyranitar on the switch, goes for the Dragon Dance. Yeah, I doubt that he's going to have anything that can really one-hit KO me because of the fact that his stab moves are not very effective against me. So he goes for Earthquake. While it is powerful, it is not going to kill me. It's only going to do about 2/3. While I D-punch him to kill him off, which is great. Now his Weather Guy is dead. I can bring out my Abomasnow at any point, and I'll have Perma Hail up for the rest of the battle, which is so needed. Anyway, he's going to bring his Dragonite, but that's going to be the end of this part, and you'll just have to see what happens in part 2.